I'm Diana Freeman.
And I'm Artemis Freeman.
Next on Taped with Rabbi Doug is our dad, Aaron Freeman.
We're gonna watch Rabbi Doug on the TV tonight.
Forget about the network programs. Forget about all the great cable shows. There's only one thing for me on Mondays and Tuesday nights. Rabbi Doug.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna watch Rabbi Doug. Yeah, we're gonna watch Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. Glad you could be with us today. My guest today is my good friend, Mr. Aaron Freeman. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Shalom Haver.
Shalom, ma shlomcha.
Hayom yehi tov b'hayim sheli.
I am so glad. Baruch Hashem. Everything
Baruch Hashem.
should always be good for you. You just returned from Israel. Aaron, of course, is famous comedian, political analyst, journalist, author.
Old man.
A little bit older than me, but not
That's
too much.
true.
But it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Certainly, we've been together before from the Chicago Jewish Festival,
Chicago
no longer
Jewish
the Chicago Jewish Folk Arts Festival.
That's
but
true, it's true.
Jewish Folk Festival. We've been on Avi Meyer's show, the Northtown News Magazine together.
Yep.
And
I just came back from a very big Jewish festival.
and I want to know all about this Israel festival that you went to. What was this called?
Well, I was a part of the Israeli-Palestinian comedy tour. It was the first time that Israeli, Palestinian, and Jewish comedians had ever appeared on the same bill in Israel.
Really?
It was me and my buddy Ray Hanania, one of the fabulous, wonderful, and the world's most moderate Palestinian.
Really? And did this draw big crowds?
And we had 4 shows in Jerusalem, all of which were completely sold out, totally packed, amazing.
Did you attract a lot of Chicagoans?
We did not, but when on our last show, the last show we did at Kol HaNeshama in Jerusalem, there were 2 young girls who had just made Aliyah from Highland Park.
Oh, really?
So,
So they knew who you were.
oh yeah,
Very good.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
To the rest of the Israelis, they just kept going, "You're not Ethiopian? You're really not Ethiopian? Is that it?" But it was great. It was really quite. It was it's very. Ray and I are part of this group called Comedy for Peace, and the idea is to use comedy as a means of conflict resolution because comedy is an inherently optimistic endeavor. Right? You laugh when the guy slips on a banana peel because you figure he's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. So they say the comedy is a way of looking at life that makes happy endings seem inevitable. And so we believe that well, for example, in our show we had Israelis and Palestinians, the Jews and Arabs in the same show laughing at the same jokes. And it's a microscopic contribution to the world, a teeny sliver of good, but it is good.
Every teeny sliver adds up to a pile.
Hey, and we got a big pile out there, so we made a big pile in Israel.
And you had a good time.
We had a fantastic time. Israel
great.
is an amazing place. It's an amazing place. Stunning, shocking, never a dull moment.
Now, the first time that I saw Aaron Freeman live before I got to know you was on a date when I was very young. You were doing a show called Council Wars
yes.
in the city, and it was hysterical. And you're still doing some political stuff, and especially with the elections coming up, you must have that as a big part of your stand-up act.
Well, as I say, I don't write the jokes. I just vote for them like everybody else. But in truth is, as you said, when I went out, for example, when I was in Israel, because God likes me, the first day, the first show when we got to Israel, the president of Israel, Moshe Katsav, had been indicted for sexual assault. This guy's like Bill Clinton without that consent thing. So I had a week's worth of just dirty political jokes for the whole time.
Very nice.
But yeah, politicians are, this is Chicago, this is Illinois, land of very entertaining politicians.
And you being who you are, just bring a different twist on it than anybody else.
Well, we try, you try. Of course, we got Barack Obama, or as Fox News likes to remind us, Barack Hussein Obama. Very important to get that Barack Hussein Obama in there. But he appeals to all sides. The Jews love him because he went to Harvard, and the Arabs like him because his name is Hussein. It reminds him of Saddam. So it's really, what's not to like about the guy?
Very
He's
true.
he's the world's most likable Hawaiian Negro.
Absolutely. I said you're an author,
That's true.
and I want to talk about a little bit about the other things you do, because everybody knows you're a stand-up comic and analyst. But this great book, Aaron Freeman and Sharon Rosenzweig, his bride,
My lovely wife.
have this book called How to Say I Love You in 30 Languages, and the artwork, Sharon does the artwork.
Sharon does the artwork.
And it's just amazing,
Fun
the
stuff.
artwork that the two of you do. How many languages can you say it without looking in your book?
Well, the truth is, I probably have, over the years, learned 90 or 100. At any given time, I can do 30 or 40. Just because I forget them as I go along. But I mean, at any given time, I could do 30 or 40. Matter of fact, we were just, one of the great things is there's so many ethnic restaurants, and it's a great conversation starter.
Sure.
We were just at we were in Phoenix, and we met a woman who was from Ethiopia, and. You can, walk up to somebody and say, "What the shallow?" And all those Amharic speakers just go, "Oh, he likes me." You go to Amsterdam, "Kaufen oh, have some hashish. It's very nice. It's very nice. It's very nice stuff. But it's not an overwhelmingly useful trick. You'll be in Bulgaria and have to go to the bathroom. I love you. He's urinated on himself, but he's a nice guy.
You're still doing radio.
Still do radio.
Still doing radio.
Yes, I do commentaries on 848 on Chicago Public Radio, All Things Considered on National Public Radio.
Unbelievable.
WCPT, Chicago's Progressive Talk. I was just actually down in Phoenix, substitute hosting for Mike Malloy, the very angry and intense progressive talk show host.
Very nice. And you used to host a TV show, and
yeah.
you got too busy to do
Talking with Aaron Freeman, that was a lot of fun.
You just have been in every media, and your latest media is just amazing because you're doing Jewish media now.
Now now I work for the folks who control the media, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, and you're one of them.
Control. That's why I joined. I was waiting. I know the Jews control all the media, control all the banks, and it's really very nice to have. They gave me one little lever. I got one little lever, at my bris. I had one little lever they gave me to control the world with. So I have one little part of it.
Very good.
I have a little joystick.
Your Comic Torah.
Comic Torah,
which is comics on each weekly
every
Torah
week.
portion.
My wife and I, we live parsha to parsha.
Parsha to parsha,
which is just a grand thing to do.
Have you gotten through the whole Torah already once?
Actually, no. We just now looked. The Vayera March will be the
1 year anniversary.
Yeah, that'll be the 1 year. Although it's a little more, but basically, yeah, I started the project with Parsha Vayera in March of last year.
I know that I see it online every week.
We do it.
By the way, if you want to know more about Aaron and his book and his Comic Torah, just drop me an email at info@tvrabbi.com, or check out our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where Aaron's link is, and you can take a look at all his works and his online characters.
Appreciate it.
And can we take a look at Comic Torah for a second?
Sure.
I really think that this is amazing because you put a twist on the Torah portion of the week.
Well, that's true.
That's just amazing.
So this is the first book of Exodus, Shemot.
This is the beginning of Shemot.
When God is talking to Moses, now of course Moses bears a striking resemblance to me. And oddly enough, since my wife draws him, God looks like her.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing how that works.
Isn't that amazing?
And there's talking to Moses from the burning bush, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, we read Torah for the jokes, which is grand fun.
What's your grand goal with this? Is it to put together a book and to take not just, let's say you did Shemot, this is your comic for Shemot for the beginning of the book of Exodus, but is it a goal to move on and say, let's take a different part of that portion and do more comics on it? Or is it to just go through it once? What is your goal with Comic Torah besides having fun?
You know what Oscar Wilde said? The first duty of life is to enjoy it, and the second duty has yet to be discovered.
Wonderful.
We are having a grand time. Living parsha to parsha. We also, in addition to doing on Thursday nights, we finish and we send our little email out with all the parsha, and then Friday we start thinking about the food.
There
We
you
said
go.
Friday, he's just thinking
There
about
you
the
go.
food.
Shabbat food. There you go.
And it's a great way to live.
It
You know,
is.
we are really very much enjoying it. People always ask us about doing a book. Who knows? You know, we are really enjoying. We enjoy doing our little comics. We enjoy putting them out. We enjoy living, Shabbos to Shabbos.
That's great.
It's a great blessing to be able to do it. You know, we make a little money on our little comic, and so it's fun. And so we can do that right now. And we run around. We fly around the country. We talk about the Comic Torah.
That's great.
So we are just having a great time now. And Sharon is very happy just doing this.
Really?
And so we'll see what happens. At some
Very
point
nice.
there may be something more interesting we want to do, something that's more, but for now we are really excited and way into the parshot. So
Now,
we're doing them.
you're also still doing speaking engagements and
That's what
stand
I
up.
do for a
I know
living.
you met my aunt at a speaking engagement
true, it's
not
true,
long
it's
ago, a political speaking engagement that you were doing.
That's true.
And you're involved with Chabad. You're involved with other synagogues.
We were just at Chabad last week. We love Chabad. Now, although I must say, I am not a Chabadnik. I describe myself as a Lubavitch sympathizer. I mean, I love the way that the Chabadniks do Judaism as though it were a party, but the Rebbe is dead. Now, I know that my Lubavitch friends, they say, well, that depends on how you define dead. For them, in the ground for 12 years is not really sufficient proof of death. And okay, I'm willing to accept that. I'm just saying, for me, as a convert, I don't understand the deeper implications of life. And so to me, that looks dead.
I'm with you.
But-
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I understand those are great. But now, one of my favorite Chabad guys, is Rabbi Binyamin Shimon.
Oh, Rabbi Binyamin Shimon, I want you to know, when I grew up in the Niles Des Plaines area, he was the rabbi. I helped him start his synagogue. I was the Torah reader at the very beginning for him, because that's where I grew up.
Well, he's the rabbi for the Illinois prison
Yes,
system.
I do know
and
that.
the great thing about that is, right, when you say that, because first of all...
No connection to his Chabad and Niles.
No. Well, he does actually invite some of those guys to come for Shabbos dinner, which can be Mrs. Shimon. This is going to be a shock for her. But, when you tell people, I tell people, he's the rabbi for the Illinois prison system, that he ministers to Jews in jail. And the first thought is, well, Jews in jail? No! There aren't any Jews in jail. But then Jewish pride comes in and they go, well, I'll bet it's for some of those white-collar crimes, embezzlement, forgery, them PhD college crimes, Then they get proud about it. Well, that's the way we Jews do the crime. We do the crime, the good ones. But, Rabbi Shimon, he doesn't work in the federal system with all those nice white-collar. He works in... state system, and those are all 10 Commandment crimes.
Yeah,
and none of them are white collar.
No. And he does amazing work.
He's a great guy. You ever gone with him down there?
No, he's offered, and I never have.
Oh, it's great stuff. It's very interesting. You get to hang out with the prison Jews. The guys are, you sit there, the door goes clang, and you go, Shema Yisrael. I mean, it's
But
really...
I think I used to daven with some of the people he visits.
I'm sure. Well, listen, he invites these guys, when you get out, come visit my house for Shabbos dinner. And you can just hear Mrs. Shimon going, no! But he does.
And her brother, who is the rabbi here in Highland Park.
That's right, Rabbi Shanowitz, who I've never met, and every Jew I know says, you got to meet this guy. This guy is the greatest guy in the world. That's what everybody... Rabbi Shanowitz, I'd love to meet you, guy. One of these days.
If you buy a TV and watch Aaron on TV, you know that he's asking that.
He doesn't watch TV?
I don't think he has a TV in his house. No.
I don't either. I mean, we watch you on the video. We had videos of you to watch. But, since the dawn of the internet, it's really, it's kind of, so there are other ways to get your information.
Yes, there are.
And there are other ways even to entertain yourself. But of course, television is good because I have lots of good friends who are on television. Like you, if there was more shows like yours on, I would have a TV and watch all the time.
There you go. Now, you also still sometimes go back and do some of your old routines with people, like with our friend Karen Bark, who you used to travel with and do a show together, and she was recently on our show. And do synagogues still call you to come and do fundraisers stuff like that?
The majority of the work I do is for Jewish groups.
Really?
The majority of the work I do is for Jewish groups, for synagogues, for fundraisers, for synagogue youth, for Shuzi, we've done those. And actually, my wife and I, we actually talk a lot about, we do little workshops and little seminars about the Comic Torah. Because, especially during the, over the last couple of years, comic books and comic art has gotten, has been controversial.
Controversial
In the world. And in fact, that we were participants in the Israeli anti-Semitic cartoon contest.
Really?
That was, after first there was the Muhammad cartoons, and then Iran, Hamshiri, the largest newspaper in Iran. By the way, Iran, which is, I think, the most Jew-friendly country in the world.
Isn't that bizarre?
Iran is, I think, the only country in the world whose constitution mandates you have to have at least one Jew in the parliament. Which is like, there's no minimum.
I don't know how that works, but I do know that the
it's
Jews that are living in Iran,
the 25,000.
some of them actually travel out. They have to come home, or their family's going to be thrown in jail. But they actually are allowed to travel out and come back and stuff.
I guess they say that Ahmadinejad actually it was much more restrictive before Ahmadinejad. Since he's been there, the restrictions on the Jews on the Iranian Jewish travel has been much liberalized. But anyway, so Hamshiri did this Holocaust cartoon contest to test the limits of free speech, and then a group of Israeli comic artists decided that we're not going to be beaten on anti-Semitism on our own turf. Said, you want to know how to make anti-Semitic cartoons? We will make the anti-Semitic cartoons. And so he had the contest only for Jews, among Jews, to create the sharpest, most offensive Jew-hating comics ever published.
Wonderful.
Which is such a wonderful Israeli thing to do.
Something.
Only the Israelis would do something like that. So we were a part of that, and we've kind of gotten into the comic world and the Israeli comic world, which is just a really bizarre. We were hanging with those guys out in Tel Aviv when we were there.
How many times have you been to Israel?
This is my third trip.
This is your third trip.
Yep.
What do you think, as someone who is by choice, as they say?
That's right.
What do you think?
As opposed to people like you who had no choice.
I had no choice.
You were stuck. There was nothing you could do.
What do you think is inspired you most about the land of Israel?
I have never felt more alive. Because, it is, the contradictions in Israel are right there in your face.
They are.
I mean, here in the U.S., we sit here and the things that the government does is, half a world away. But in Israel, it is right there. And they are all struggling with, Yisrael. They are struggling with them right there in real time. And the other thing about Jerusalem particularly is, as you know, people are in Jerusalem, nobody just happens to be in Jerusalem. They're there because they want to be there. They're trying to do something, and they're really intense about it. And I really, immensely, greatly admire and respect the intensity of life in Jerusalem. And it's really, it's an amazing place. It's a truly amazing place. I don't know. It's, we're there like for a week, and we're going, let's make Aliyah. We're just going to move here. But I don't know. You got to be tough.
You got to be tough. It's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not an easy place.
I've had on many guests from Israel. Particularly my friends Rabbi Jay and Ruby Karzan, who were on recently, and they said, Aliyah is a wonderful thing. Living in Israel is wonderful, but don't think that it's easy.
It's tough,
it's
man.
Not easy.
I know. We visited Hebron, which is very, very,
I have friends
very
that live
tough. That is very. I lived through Jim Crow, man. That is the toughest place I've ever seen in my life. That is an immensely challenging place. So yeah, but there's a lot of it's a very challenging place. But that's what you love about it.
Yeah.
It is so it's intense. It's very, very intense, and it's very human though. It's very human. This is like it's brother and brother right there. The family is right there, and they're all fighting it out. It's really. And I relate to the whole, Israeli-Palestinian thing because I got daughters.
So do I.
How it is. I know what it's like when the siblings are out there fighting. I totally get it. Totally get it.
I do too. Definitely.
And I also love the falafel. That's mostly the falafel, though.
The falafel and the shawarma.
The shawarma is very.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's the other thing. It's just so funny. Because to go to places where, you live in West Rogers Park, so it's not such a big deal to you to find restaurants where they're all kosher. You don't have to worry about any of it. You can eat everything on the menu. And that's really just, it's so cool novel, because I'm so used to, okay, what can I have here? Okay, what kind of fish is it? And, what's that? Yeah. But there, you can just go and there's like a kosher Italian, kosher Argentinian, kosher amazing. Chinese, kosher Thai. It's just wonderful.
It's amazing. We are here, by the way, on Taped with Rabbi Doug, and I'm here with Aaron Freeman. And stay with us. We'll be right back.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am American.
I am America.
I'm an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
Hi, I'm Karen Bark. You're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug. Stay tuned.
I'm Rabbi Jake Carson from Jerusalem.
And I'm Rabbanit Ruby Ray Carson from Jerusalem.
And you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
Welcome back. I'm here on Taped with Rabbi Doug with my good friend, comedian, author, and political analyst, Aaron Freeman.
Right on.
Who has a new handshake every time you shake hands with him.
Right on. Right on. I'm glad to be hanging here in the hood, you know what I mean? With the homies in Highland Park, you know. Right on.
You like living on the North Shore?
Let's hope so.
You used to live in the city, right?
I used to live in the city, but before my recent, this most recent stint in Highland Park, I lived in Highland Park back in the early '90s, over on the south side, down by across the street from the Botanic Gardens. And now I'm on the east side of town. You know,
very nice.
Just
And
east of Green Bay.
nice.
But yeah, Highland Park's very nice.
What is it that you do in your career, Aaron Freeman, that gives you I know you enjoy everything you do, so you don't have to come back, but what do you think gives you the most enjoyment? Is it making people laugh? Is it seeing the final outcome of something you've been working on, a project that comes, what is it that really gives you the most nachas?
That's interesting. Well, that's good. I don't really have a stock answer for that, Doug. It's really very rare. I mostly have a stock answer for everything. I would say that working on the Comic Torah currently, that really excites us a lot because, first of all, I get to do it with my lovely wife, and we have a great time doing that, and we spend all of our time doing that. And we really do live parsha to parsha. And what's fun about that is, though, that we believe that Judaism will die of boredom long before it dies of heresy. And we think that in our own little way, we persuade some of our friends that Torah's not boring, that it's really, really weird and strange and fun and bizarre and exciting and shocking. And so that's really, because we enjoy the work, the actual work, and we feel as
spreading
if
the word with it.
We feel as if we're doing a teeny tiny sliver of good. Nothing major, but it's a teeny tiny sliver of good. So that's really fun.
That's great.
But making people laugh is really great fun because it's power.
Yeah,
it's really, so last time we were there in Jerusalem, you got the Israelis out there, and we owned them. They were ours, and you could just make them laugh, and you can make them stop, and you can make them think, and you can do what you want to do with them. And that's really grand fun.
So I love to have entertainers with me because I love to ask them some questions like this. Who do you look up to as a comedian? You as a comedian yourself, who do you look up to as a comedian and say, I want to be as good as him, or I really admire him a lot, and my comedy sort of echoes the same type of satire that he does.
Well, I'm not as funny as George Bush, but I'd like to be as famous and like to be as rich as him. He's very funny.
Your daughters and Diana in the studio are all clapping as you say that.
That's right. They know the good comics. They know who we really admire. No, but I see who's funny. I suppose, obviously Chris Rock and Richard Pryor, because they're dangerous. They do. They're people who I forget. Well, and Whoopi Goldberg, especially back in the old days. And I guess all of those guys have the thing in common that
they're all not white. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's
besides
true.
that.
No, I was about to say, though, the same in common as Dickens, which is you had these very, very, very talented comedians, which Dickens is a very funny guy, and he put his comic skill to the use we would call something beyond mere entertainment, and that's what you hope for. You hope that again, comedians can't do much good in the world, but we can spread optimism. And that's what you hope for.
You also unity.
Yeah, if you make the whole bunch of them laugh, then that's a good thing. And again, it's not much. It is not much at all. And comedians will not, as we said with our joke about going to Israel was that we believe that we could end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in 6 shows, and on the 7th show we rest or get arrested. As Ray Hananiah says. But only a fool would think you can make a difference in the world with jokes. But we're fools. That's what we do. That's our job. We are fools. And so we think we make a difference.
Very nice. Can we look at another Torah comic?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I would love to do that because they're so cool.
Comic Torah. So this is actually a great example of kind of the thing that we do. So this is the Torah. This is from the beginning of the Bible. This is the book of Genesis. And so, the first thing that happened when Adam was created was that God sent him all the animals in the world to date. So he's dating, he's dating the lion. He's checking on thy space, trying to find a mate before God got around to making Eve for him. So this is the kind of irreverent take we have. He's dating the flamingo and he's dating the poodles, and so this is what we do with a little bit of
very cool
poetic license, biblical license. We take.
I look forward to receiving those every week when you send them to me because they are so brilliant. They're just brilliant because they take something that is real, something that's historical, something that has meaning, and puts an edge on them, but doesn't lose the reverence for them.
We try.
And it's really a wonderful, wonderful
We try
thing.
to be sacred and profane at the same time.
Exactly. Tell me, Aaron, any special things coming up in the future for you?
Well, the Israeli-Palestinian comedy tour is really a very exciting thing. So we're going back. We're going to go back for our encore, or as our Palestinian Ray Hanania likes to call it, our right of return tour. We're going to go back to Israel, and then we're going to tour the show where, it's me, Ray Hanania, Yisrael Campbell, and Charlie Warady, who are Israeli comedians. And so we're going to go back for another couple of weeks in May to right after Lag BaOmer to Jerusalem, to Israel. And then we're going to come back here in the fall. After the holidays, we're going to tour the United States and Canada.
Well, we look forward to seeing your tour here, and
can we come on your show?
I would love to do that. Can we set that up?
We'd love to do it.
If we can, it is already set up.
We figure if we can make it on Rabbi Doug, we can make it anywhere.
All right, Aaron, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Appreciate
Remember, if you want to email us, you can email us info@tvrabbi.com. Anything you want to send to Aaron, I'll be happy to forward to him. Or you can check our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where Aaron's link is for all his stuff, and you can email him directly through there. And I want to thank my guest once again, Mr. Aaron Freeman. Wish you much success in all your endeavors. And I want to thank all of you, and thanks for being with us. We hope to see you next time, right here, same place, same time, on Taped with Rabbi Doug. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, Aaron.
Toda rabba.
Bavakasha.
Bereshis Noach lecha vayera chayes haratoldos vayitze vayishlach vayeshev miketz vayigash vayachiyah shemos vayirabo b'shalach Yisrael mishpatim teruma tetzaveh kisizav vayakab b'kudei vayikratzav shemini tazriya mitorah haremos Kedoshim amor behar Bechukos ayayay Bamidbar naso v'haloscha Shlach korach Chugas bola pinchas Matos mazei Devarim v'eschananei Gavrei shovtim Kisei kisavonim savim V'yachazin ezos habracha These are the 5 chumashim The 5 sefarim Bereshit Shemos Vayikra Bamidbar Devarim.
This has been a Taped with Rabbi Doug production.